We're going to have tonight revision number 1, which is just the name of this lesson, all right? And for our objectives, or the subjects or the titles that we're going to cover in this revision 1, we have how much, how many, and the difference between how much and how many. Also, we're going to have because versus so. And for the third one, we're going to have the fruits and vegetables. And finally, we're going to cover some parts of the reflexive pronouns. Okay? Yes, I think we're having Miss Dahlia. Yes, she's joining us. That's good. Only 2 students. Good afternoon, Miss Dahlia. Really good to have you. We've been just waiting for some students to attend, so it's good that we have you here. So these are our objectives: how much, how many, because versus so, fruits and vegetables, reflexive pronouns. All right. Now let's start with how much, how many. In everyday English, in everyday language, we normally use how much or how many only and clauses. What do you think? Can you complete it? When to use how much, when normally to use how much and how many? Only and, what do you think? Mr. Ahmed, Miss Dahlia, what do you think? In when to use how much and how many? Yes? All right. Let me just try to type these words to you. Do you remember these 2 words we took, I think, about 2 weeks ago? Questions and negative clauses, right? Remember it? So, we normally use how much and how many only in questions and negative clauses, all right? That's true? Yes, it is. Questions and negative clauses. Now, do you know the meaning of negative here? Do you know the meaning of negative? Yes. What about you, Mr. Ahmed? That's great. So, there are sentences that have the meaning of no, that have the meaning, that have the meaning of no, all right? This is the meaning of negative. Okay, it's great. For example, you've got, how much money have you got? Carla does not have many friends. So, how much here, question form here, how much? This is used in a question, all right? Whereas Carla does not have many friends, all right? This is what we mean by negative, all right? So, what about the positive? What about the positive clauses, which are again the sentences that have the meaning of yes, positive, all right? This word here. In all other positive clauses, however, we prefer, all right, we prefer expressions like a lot of or lots of, and not to use many, all right, because as we have learned, it has a negative meaning. So Carla has a lot of friends, or Carla has lots of friends. This is positive. This has the meaning of yes, all right? Kevin, in the other example, has a lot of money. Kevin has lots of money. Also positive. All right. For the usage of how many, we've got the countable nouns here. Have a singular and a plural form. The singular form is known to you, whereas the plural form, like people, like the word people, in plural, these nouns can be used with a number. All right, with a number. For example, if you have the word people, which is a plural form, and you would like to make it countable, you can add a number before the word people. You can say 7 people, for example, 8 people. All right. Whereas how much, to be used with the uncountable nouns. Uncountable nouns can only be used in singular. These nouns cannot be used with a number. For example, if you have a word like water, you cannot say 1 water or 2 water, but instead you may say I'm just trying to type this sentence to you, of water. You may say a bottle of water. This is uncountable now. Furthermore, if you know the word rice, for example, right? And you cannot say again 1 rice or 2 rice, but instead you may say a bag of rice. Okay? So, and also you can say many things about many uncountable nouns, just like water, rice, jam, a jar of jam, for example, beans, a can of beans, for example. All right? So these are uncountable nouns. Good? Perfect. Now, the use, that's great. Now, the use of a little and a few, often used with countable nouns and uncountable nouns, all right? A little and a few. And you have to make sure to get it here. For example, we've got 4 friends. You have to use a few because it's countable. A few friends. Whereas money, which is uncountable, use a little. All right? Little money. So you can use a few with countable nouns and a little with uncountable nouns. Now, let's take this activity here. How many or how much? Can you complete these three sentences here? Number one, you've got stars are there in the sky. And number two, people live on island. Birds are there. Yes, go for it. All of you, Mr. Ahmed and Miss Dahlia. How much, you mean number one, Mr. Ahmed? How much? How much stars are there in the sky? Number one. Is the word stars countable or uncountable? What do you think? You made me confused, Mr. Ahmed. At the beginning you said many and now no much. So how much or how many for number one first? Let's start with number one. The first sentence or the first question here. How many stars are there in the sky, or how much? No one can know how much stars in the sky. All right. Are you sure, Miss Dahlia, that you have to use how much here in the first question? All right. What about many? All right. Think about it. Let me just go back a little bit. Look here. How many? Countable nouns. How much? Uncountable nouns. Countable nouns. Countable nouns. You can count these nouns, right? Because use the name we can add as in the end. Well, Miss Dahlia, now it's the matter of adding how many and how much. Now, if you have got the noun here, and the noun here, and the noun here. So, look at the noun here. Is it countable or uncountable? If it's countable, you can count, so you have to use how many. If it is not countable, if it is uncountable, so you have to use how much. Okay? That's great. So Mr. Ahmed here has answered the three questions. How many for number one, how many for number two, and how many for number three. All right? That's great. What about you, Miss Dahlia? How many? How much? Number two. What about number three? How many? All right. Now let's ask Mr. Computer to give us the answer. Yes, you've got it all correct, Mr. Ahmed. That's perfect. And you've got only one little mistake, Miss Dania here. You have used how much. All right. Whereas the word people, if you can just excuse me getting back a little bit, the word people here, as I have just said, it's a plural form. It's countable noun, but it's a plural form. All right. So when it's a plural form, you have to use how many, because it's considered as a countable noun. All right. Is that clear, Miss Dahlia? So, how many stars are there in the sky? How many people live on islands? And how many birds are there? Perfect. Now, let's move to because versus so. Because I said so, that's why. So is used to show the results of an action. And please notice this word here, results of an action. Whereas because is used to show the cause of an action. So pay attention to these two words. So is used to show the results of an action, whereas because is used to show the cause of an action. All right? Let's have some examples. I have studied all weekend so I can pass my exam. This is the result. All right? Whereas here, I passed my exam because I studied all weekend. So, when using the so, you are concentrating on the result. Whereas the using of because, as we have just said here, is giving you the cause of the action. Now, let's have this activity here, just to test ourselves. If you can just use so and because properly. Now, she is late because or so. She will have to take a taxi. Number one, you have to choose either using because or so. All right, the first one, Miss Dahlia, you're saying so. She is late, so she will have to take a taxi. What about you, Mr. Ahmed? What do you think in the first sentence? Are you choosing because or so here? Because. All right. And you're saying, Miss Dahlia, so we'll see who's correct. Number two, she is tired. She has walked for 7 miles. Is it because or so? She is tired. She has walked for 7 miles because. And you, Mr. Ahmed, what do you think? Miss Dahlia is saying because. And you? Do you agree with her? Oh, you got it all down the 4 sentences? All right, so number 2, you're saying because. She is tired because. All right, just like Miss Dahlia. That's good. What about number 3 here? It is an ideal restaurant. So or because the food here is good and cheap. All right, you, Mr. Ahmed, is saying so. It is an ideal restaurant, so the food here is good and cheap. What about you, Miss Dahlia? You're saying because. We'll see you later. Number 4, we are too busy. We are too busy. We can't go to the cinema today. So, this is your choice, and your choice also is so, Mr. Ahmed. And let's ask Mr. Computer to give us the answer. All right, so we've got here the first one. She is late. So, as Miss Dallas said, so she will have to take a taxi. Number 2, she is tired because she has walked for 7 miles. Now, let me just give you this key to help you differentiate and how to use because. If you have this first sentence here, all right, she is tired. Ask yourself, is she tired? Yes or no? And then add because she has walked for 7 miles. Why is she tired? Because she has walked for 7 miles. Number 3, it is an ideal restaurant. It is an ideal restaurant because the food here is good and cheap. Why is it an ideal restaurant? It is an ideal restaurant because the food here is good and cheap. Number 4, we are too busy, so we can't go to the park. We can't go to the park. So here is dealing with the results. And because is given the cause. All right? Thank you so much for your answers. It's been great. That's great. Thanks a lot. And here my son to all of you, to both of you actually. Thanks a lot. Now let's move to the fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables. Now, do you know it? Vegetables, you've got 3 kinds of vegetables here. If your microphone is ready, I can give you the mic just to give me the vegetables, the words, if you'd like to speak out. Yes or no? Don't be shy to speak. Would you like to speak? Yes or no? If your microphone is okay, ready. If it's not ready, so then you can just type the words, please. All right? Try to type the words. Oh, mashallah, we've got Mr. Ahmed is giving us the whole words. All right, for number 1, you've got carrot. That's perfect. Eggplant for the second vegetable. And for the third one, for the third vegetable here, we've got lettuce. That's perfect. What about you, Miss Dahlia? Don't we have another word for eggplant? All right. Let's check here. No. All right. So, carrots here. That's perfect, Miss Ahmed. The same. Aubergines. All right. It's another word for eggplant. So, we've got carrots, aubergines, and we've got lettuce. And you have it all correct, Mr. Ahmed. Perfect. Thank you. So, these are 3 kinds of vegetables. Carrots, aubergines, lettuce. Which one is your favorite, Mr. Ahmed, Miss Dahlia? Which one do you prefer? Which of these vegetables you like? Can you choose one? Which one is your favorite? All right, Miss Dahlia, you've got aubergines. That's good. It's a good vegetable. True or false? Eggplant. All right, another word. That's perfect. So what about you, Mr. Ahmed? Which one do you like? Which one do you like the most? Do you like carrots, aubergine, or lettuce? Choose one. Choose one. For me, I would choose this one here. This is my favorite. What about you, Mr. Ahmed? Yes, sorry guys, I lost service, but now fine. Great. All right. Good afternoon, Ms. Rahaf. Good to have you. Now, let's move to these additional vegetables. All right. Can you name the first one? Can you name the first one? Can you tell it? What's that? What kind of vegetable is it? Yes, go, Ms. Rahaf. What's that? Would you like to speak in your mic? Or would you like to type the word? You choose one. If your mic is ready. Otherwise, you can just type the word. Type the kinds of vegetables you're seeing here in front of you. Potatoes, that's perfect. That's good. That's good. The first word, potatoes, excellent. What about the second picture? this second kind of vegetable here? What do you call it in English? I know you know it in Arabic. What's that? What kind of vegetable is that, Miss Dahlia? All right, we have here Miss Ravi saying peppers. All right, Mr. Ahmed. Potato, pepper, and spinach. All right, now, just to have it clear, look at the words here. We've got potatoes and peppers, spinach, and peas. All right, spinach and peas. All right, now which one is your favorite? Which one is your favorite? For peas? For potatoes, Miss Dahlia, Miss Rav? All of them? That's great. Very healthy. Very healthy food. Very healthy vegetables. All right. Now let's move to the fruits. You've got here 4 types of fruits. Do you know these fruits? Very delicious, healthy. Apples. That's great, Miss Rahaf. What about the second one? Apples, yes, Miss Dahlia, you're right. Peach. You mean this one or this one here? Peach? Peaches? Apricots. Yes, apricots, the second one, Miss Raf, you're right. That's great. We've got grapes here in the third picture. Wonderful, excellent. What about the last one here? I think you've seen it before, right? Oranges, all right. So we've got here apples, Mr. Ahmed's great. Apples, got apricots, grapes, and blueberries. Blueberries, all right? And then the last picture here, we've got the oranges. All right? So, which one is your favorite? For me, I would choose oranges. And you? Which one is your favorite? Also, oranges, Miss Rahaf. That's great. Very healthy. Healthy fruits. What about the rest? What about you, Mr. Ahmed? And you, Miss Dahlia? Which one is your favorite? You can choose one, or maybe you can choose all of them, right? I like grapes. Yeah, grapes. I like it too. That's great. Perfect. Very wonderful fruits. All right, let's take this group of fruits here. What can you see in these? What can you see here? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 kinds of fruits. The first one, bananas, yes. That's good. What about this here? The one in red. Very famous fruit. Famous fruits. Cherries. All right, Miss Dahlia. Cherries. Bananas, you're right. We've got all as usual, Mr. Ahmed. Cherries, bananas, strawberries, and peach. All right, ask Mr. Computer. Absolutely right. You're all right. Thanks a lot for all of you. Wonderful answers. Yes, we've got cherries here, bananas, strawberries, and peaches. All right. I will start by saying that bananas is my favorite fruit. What about you? I like bananas so much. And you? Which one is your favorite fruit here? You choose one. Or maybe you choose all of them. Cherries, Miss Dahlia. That's good. That's delicious too. All right. So we've got cherries, strawberries, bananas, and peaches. Bananas, yes, Mr. Ahmed. That's great. All right. What about this kind here? What about these kinds of fruit? Also famous fruits. You can see them everywhere. What do you call them? What do you call these fruits? Yeah, number 5 is dates. You're right. You're right, Ms. Rahab. Dates here. What about the rest? As usual, watermelon, Mr. Ahmed, lemon here. And what's the third one? Eggplant. Are you sure, Miss Dahlia? Is it eggplant? All right, we've got watermelon, lemons here, plums. We call it plums. And dates here, Mr. Ahmed. All right? So eggplant, Miss Dahlia, would go to vegetables, right? Vegetables, eggplant. Whereas here, these are fruits. Watermelon, lemons, plums, and dates. Yes? That's great. All right, for me, I would choose dates. I like it so much. And you? Which one do you choose? All of them are fruits. All of them are healthy. Watermelon. Yes, it's a good fruit, Mr. Ahmed. I do like it myself. All right. That's great. What do we have next? We have reflexive pronouns. You have seen this. I can choose. I like lemons, date, and watermelon. That's great. All right, Miss Dahlia, we've got here the reflexive pronouns. We have the subject I, you, he, she, it, we, you, plural they. And the reflexive pronoun for every subject, you have I, myself, you, yourself, he, himself, she, herself, and it would take itself, we, ourselves, you, plural, yourselves, they, themselves. These are the reflexive pronouns. Let's take some explanations here. Reflexive pronouns are objects that refer to the subject. They end in self, if it's singular, or selves, if it's plural. For example, the boy kicked himself. So himself goes back to the subject boy. She made coffee herself. She made herself coffee. The same. So herself here goes back, this pronoun goes back to indicate she. You should address the letter to yourself. Also the same here is reflected to the subject you. Now, let's take this last activity here. And we've got 5, and I'm sure you have seen these 5 sentences before. Robert made this t-shirt. What's its reflexive pronoun? Robert made this t-shirt himself. Miss Dahlia, himself. Excellent. Himself. Oh, is it himself or herself? By the way, the word Robert is he or what? Or a man or a boy. So if it's he or a man or a boy, then if it's he or a man or a boy or a name, just like Robert here, so himself. That's right, Miss Dahlia. That's right, himself. So himself is the correct answer. Perfect. What about the second one here? Lisa did the homework herself, because Lisa would go like she. All right? She. Or what? Or a girl. Okay? So if it's she, a girl, a woman, Lisa did the homework here, as Miss Dahlia said, herself. Right? Perfect. What about the third sentence? We helped to some cola at the party. Our, are you sure, Miss Dahlia? Are you sure of your answer? Self, is it singular or plural? Is it singular or plural? Our, who can complete it? Our, excellent. Ourselves, excellent, Miss Dahlia. So we helped ourselves to some cola at the party, right? Oh, Mr. Ahmed, you're always giving us the answers as one fact. All right. So himself, herself, himself. Number 3, are you sure it's himself, Mr. Ahmed? So it's ourselves, right? Ourselves. Let's go back to the table here. So we goes with ourselves as its reflexive pronoun. All right? It's okay. So we helped ourselves to some cola at the party. Number 4, Emma, did you take the photo by? Again, you know what? Losing internet service is really a very big problem. Anyway, we have stopped here at number 4. Emma, did you take the photo by? What was the answer of this? By herself, Miss Dahlia. What about the rest? What about the rest of the students? What about you, Mr. Ahmed? I think you have given the answer already. Number 4, you have said herself. This is your answer. All right. Whereas we have Mr. Ahmed al-Mu'tasim, yourself. Excellent. And you also, Dalia, yourself. Excellent. How did you know it's yourself as a reflexive pronoun, Mr. Ahmed or Miss Dalia? How did you know that the answer is yourself? Because you, which you? You mean this you here? Do you mean this you? You mean this you? Yes, absolutely right. Wonderful. After that, perfect. Yes, this is the key. This is the key word. This is really the key word. Yes, excellent. This you is the key word. Emma, did you take the photo by yourself? Excellent. If you have got the you here, that means the answer is yourself, as you have just said. You and Mr. Ahmed al-Mu'tasim. Perfect. All right, now let's take the last sentence here. I wrote this poem. I wrote this poem myself. Myself, Miss Dahlia. Excellent. By myself. Excellent, Mr. Ahmed al-Mu'tasim. And let me just check your answer. Your previous answer, Mr. Ahmed Ramadan. You have said ourselves. All right. And actually, the correct answer is myself, as Miss Dahlia and Mr. Ahmed said. Again, the same question. Why did you choose? What's the key word is I? Perfect, Mr. Ahmed. Yes, this is the key word. This is the key word. All right. I wrote this poem myself. What's poem? What's the meaning of poem? Anyone? Yes, you got it. You got it correct at the first place, Mr. Ahmed al-Mu'tasim. Perfect. You are a good student, by the way. This is why you came first. All right, so what's the meaning of poem? What's the meaning of poem? Do you know the meaning of poem? I wrote this poem myself or by myself. Anyone? What's the meaning of poem? Does any one of you write poems? All right. You're giving the meaning in Arabic, Mr. Ahmed al-Mu'tasim. Yes, this is correct. And to give the definition or the meaning in English, so we would say poem is a piece of writing, arranged of lines and of sounds which often rhyme. Do you write poems, Mr. Ahmed al-Mu'tasim? Do you write poems yourself? Yes or no? Any one of you, Mr. Ahmed Ramadan, Miss Dahlia, or Mr. Ahmed al-Mu'tasim, do you write poems? Yes or no? No? You don't like him? You don't like poems? Oh, yes. Ahmed Ramadan, yes. I like it. Yes, yes. Poems are good. Are good. We all like it. That's perfect. That's good. You like it very much, Mr. Ahmed al-Mu'tasim. Perfect. But I don't write it. Yes, me too. I like it, but I don't write it. But by the way, sometimes I do write poems myself. I read it every day. That's great. All right, now this is the end of our lesson today. If you have any questions, ladies and gentlemen, please do ask me. I'll be very happy to answer your questions. Our references today is Flying as usual, actually. Flying High, Book 1, Traveler Book 1, and Mega Goal Book 1. Any questions, gentlemen and ladies? I'll be so happy to answer yours. It's been really wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me just conduct this poll to you so that you can respond to it, please. That's it. Here we go. Thank you so much. It's been really wonderful having you. Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to see you next class. Next class, yes. All right, thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Mr. Ahmed Ramadan. Thank you, Miss Dahlia. And thank you, Mr. Ahmed Al-Mu'tasim. Thank you so much and have a nice time. May God bless you all. Is it in every sentence a keyword? Well, Mr. Ahmed, it's a good question, by the way. Yes. In every sentence, actually, you have a keyword. For example, if you take the first sentence here, Robert made this t-shirt himself. How do I know it's himself? Because of Robert. And Robert, Mr. Ahmed, is the name of a male. Yes, Robert means he. Perfect. Excellent. What about number two? Sentence number two. Lisa, the same. Lisa is the name of a girl or a female in general. She. Perfect. Excellent. What about the key word in the third sentence? We helped. We. Perfect. Excellent. So it should be ourselves. And in the fourth sentence, you've got you is a key word. No, for the fourth, yes, exactly. You here is the key word. Ima, did you? All right. And I in the fifth sentence. Is it okay now, Mr. Ahmed? Perfect. Good. Happy? All right. Yes, that's good. Thank you so much. Have a nice time. Thank you. Thank you indeed. May God bless you all. Have a nice time. Good night. Anytime. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Mr. Ahmed Ramadan. Good to have you. All right. Good night. Good night, all of you. Good night.